Racing on Saturday is set to take place out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. That is Saturday the 31st of August 2024. By the looks of it, it seems like we're going to have a double header with racing at Turfentine as well. And joining me in studio is Graham Hawkins for the Durbanville preview. And Graham, how are you doing?
All good, thank you, Rahil. Yes, let's hope no hiccups. Bright sunny day on Thursday, bright sunny day today, Friday. We record on a Friday morning, as everybody knows by now. The forecast, in fact, for the Cape, although not warm, is clear for the next 10 days or so. So there's an opportunity for the tracks to dry out. And of course, there's an added race meeting on Tuesday at Hollywoodbets Durbanville as well. So we look set to get back-to-back race meetings underway.
It is a 9-race program, which means that the bipod will commence with the running of race number 2. And race number 1, 12 o'clock, is the off-time, 1,000 meters the distance. We begin with the Work Riders race down in the Western Cape, and it is number 10, Bagatelle Flash, that tops the boards here at 18 to 10. It's 28 to 10 about number 5, Dawn Till Dusk. And then it's 7 to 2, Fencing Captain, 10 to 1, and better for those. Now, Graham, this was Bagatelle Flash. His last 2 starts, I thought he'd go close to winning, but he hasn't been able to get the job done. This does look to be a suitable race for him, and does have an awkward draw to contend with, so that would be the negative.
I think the draw is a query, and the fact that he hasn't raced since June is a query. We'll have to take his current fitness on trust. He is at the top of the boards at around 2 to 1. He will be ridden by work rider Tamela. It's not a deep race, Ray Hill. There are only 2 others that I think are worthy of a mention. Number 2, Fencing Captain, has the benefit of a good draw and a very useful work rider who's ridden a host of winners. And there's a form update for Fencing Captain. If you haven't printed your book more recently, ran 4th on the 23rd of August, beaten only 2.5 lengths by Across the Bow. We don't know how strong that race was, but the fact of the matter is he's had a recent run. It was at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He ran well enough. He's run well enough in his last 2 starts. Fitness might be on his side, and he's got a good draw. So my hesitant first choice would be number 2, Fencing Captain, who's trading at around 7 to 2. Obviously, number 5, Dawn Till Dusk, also a nice draw. Louis Burke rides, and he had his first run as a gelding at the country course, went 3rd behind Meant to Be. He was drawn well on that occasion. So he's obviously benefited from gelding going the right way. So it's not part of the exotics. It's an interesting start to what should be a very competitive day's racing. Number 2, Fencing Captain, my top choice, ahead of number 5, Dawn Till Dusk, and then number 10, Bagatelle Flash. But obviously, it's a selection that's not made with a huge amount of conviction.
Well, Fencing Captain, he's got the draw, he's got the fitness on his side, and let's see if he's going to be able to grab the spoils in race number 1. Moving along to race number 2 next up. This will be a maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1,250 meters. The bipod will commence with the running of race number 2 at 12:35. And your favorite here is number 9, My Sensation, trading at 12 to 10. You've got 3 scratchings here, that of numbers 2, 7, and 12. So it's a field of 11 that remain. Kamchatka is at around 3 to 1, 5 to 1, Wild Applause, and then you can get 8 to 1 and better bar those. Now, Graham, this filly, My Sensation, has been carded to run a lot recently, but she finds a place here, and she's a filly that caught the eye on debut.
Yes, she was totally unfancied. It was at Kenilworth. She was sent out at 75 to 1. She ran 3rd behind Polynomial. There has been a direct winner from that form line. She's drawn initially out at gate 9, but there have been 2 inside scratchings, so she comes into gate 7, which will help her cause. I think she is the one they all have to beat on what we have seen thus far. Kamchatka, not a bad debut. That form is yet to stand up, so we'll have to see how Kamchatka goes, but it was drawn 12 out of 12 on debut at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, so you can expect a lot of improvement from number 8, Kamchatka. Diamond Bomber, Elder De Meyer puts up half a kilogram, raced in the same race as My Sensation, went behind Polynomial. On the evidence of that form and the fact that Diamond Bomber has cracked the worst draw of all, suggested My Sensation should have the beating or the measure of Diamond Bomber again. The interesting first-timer, of course, and is in the market, so watch out if there's any support for number 1, Wild Applause. Drawn in pole position, Grant van Niekerk for Justin Snaith. Once again, The Futura Park trainers may just have the edge over their Milnerton rivals in the fitness department, and Justin Snaith and Brett Crawford have been going well over the meetings that have taken place during this rain-interrupted period. And if there's any money for Wild Applause, then you've got to respect that. Justin Snaith is not known for stepping them up first time out, but he's also been caught surprised by the sheer ability of some of these horses. They come out and win on ability only. But my suggested bet is a place accumulator, not the buy pot. But as things stand, and if there's no money for Wild Applause, I think I'd be happy to take my chances and bank a number 9, My Sensation.
Yeah, My Sensation can only improve on what she showed on debut, and she rates a 1 to beat in race number 2. Next up, race number 3 will be the start of the place accumulator, and this is a maiden plate for fillies and mares, 1250 meters the distance. Third race, number 12, Mon Petit Chéri, 18 to 10. It's 28 to 10, Oktoberfest, 9 to 2, Time in Paris, 8 to 1, Love Story, and then it is 14 to 1, and Better Bar. Those scratch number 13, Look Forward. Now, Mon Petit Chéri, she was fancied last time out, but she just found one too good on the day, and in the form of Maritzburg Memory. Awkward draw to contend with, but she comes from the Brett Crawford yard, who, as you touched on, have had some good success in recent weeks. And then number 3, Oktoberfest, a well-related daughter of Master of My Fate, fancied on debut and comes from the same form line, and she's got the draw in her favour. So it's going to be interesting here, Graham, because you've got a trainer that's been bang in form, whereas Candice Bass-Robinson doesn't have that advantage, but she has had a few winners.
Yeah, she's been ticking over during this period. There's no doubt about it. But as we've mentioned over and over again, the Futura Park trainers appear to have had the upper hand. But the draw's a great leveler here. Purely on paper, purely on form, she's got 3.5 lengths to find with Mon Petit Chéri. But that was her first run. It was Mon Petit Chéri's second run. So there's lots of improvement to come for number 3, Oktoberfest, and she's very much in the race. Number 2, Time in Paris, that Spoil Yourself form line comes under the microscope here. We're not sure who's going to ride Time in Paris. Richard Ferree's not riding. Craig Zacky's been flown into town to ride many horses. Dennis Schwartz is also not riding. So there'll be more changes to come. So obviously our viewers need to make sure they're up to speed with all of the card changes before we get underway at 12 o'clock on Saturday. I've put all 3 into the place accumulator. It does look at absolute 3-cornered contests. I've put all 3 in. They could easily run 1, 2, 3. You could get away with the banker, but I put all 3 in. Numbers 2, Time in Paris, 3, Oktoberfest, and 12, Mon Petit Chéri. Mon Petit Chéri does bring the best form into the race, but it is a bad draw is a bad draw, and but she might have enough gate speed coming from that outside gate. Gareth Wright and Brett Crawford teamed up to have a winner again just the other day when they did have a race meeting. Zachy rides number 6, Greenlight Dancer, who's also from that Spoil Yourself form line. But I don't see anything else really getting into it from a win perspective. Number 10, Love Story. Rockapina, interestingly, runs later in this card, and I'm kind of in the camp of taking her on, but more about that later. Not a bad debut behind Rockapina, because Rockapina won by 5 lengths that day. So Love Story obviously also has plenty of scope for improvement. In order of preference, I'm going number 3, Oktoberfest, because of the draw, and I think she might improve a great deal off the back of that first run. 12, Mon Petit Chéri would be my second choice, and Time in Paris, number 2, my third choice, followed then by number 10, Love Story. And again, a well-bred first-timer is number 11, Hay Fever. But I'm taking no chances in the opening leg of the place accumulator. I'm going all 3. I might have this structure completely wrong, because I'm also looking to beat Rockapina later on, and that could be embarrassing for me. But, you look at it and you say, well, where are the vulnerabilities perhaps with some of the short-priced favourites, because we haven't got much recent form to work on because of the rain-interrupted programs that we've had to endure down in the Western Cape. But it's a good day's racing, and this should be a really nice race. It's going to be interesting to see whether Oktoberfest can turn that form around with number 12, Mon Petit Chéri.
3, 12, and 2, the top 3 choices here for Graham in race number 3. Race number 4 next up. This will be the start of the pick 6, 1250 meters, a maiden plate. 1:45 is the off time, and it's number 8, Empire State, that is the favorite at 9 to 10. Let It Be Said, who showed massive improvement last time out, is at 16 to 10, 10 to 1 about Good Shine, 12 to 1 and Better Bar those. Now, Graham, Justin Snaith, Candice Bass-Robinson, these 2 horses top betting boards, and they're far ahead of everything else in the market. Empire State. Now, he was carded to run a few weeks back, and he wasn't scratched at one point, and we thought around 16 to 1 it could be some value if he happened to run, because he just ran on debut and he had the fitness on his side. But he takes his place here, and with natural improvement, he should go very close.
Look, there's only 2 runners that make any kind of appeal here. So from a pick 6 point of view, I think you've got to include both numbers 1, Let It Be Said, and number 8, Empire State. I'd be shocked if the winner came from outside of that duo. It's going to be interesting to see how Dauntle Dusk runs earlier in race 1. Ran 3rd, first up as a gelding behind Meant to Be, was beaten 2 3/4 lengths. That's the same form line, Let It Be Said, 2nd behind Meant to Be. So that form line will be put to the test, will be put to the sword in the opening race by Dauntle Dusk. I know the opening race is a work riders maiden. JP van der Merwe has taken over from Richard Faria, board number 1, Let It Be Said. I've gone with Let It Be Said as the place accumulator banker because from gate 1, no excuses, showed good improvement second time out, is very well bred, should continue to improve. But if he were to be beat by number 8, Empire State, I wouldn't be surprised. The 2 of them stand out head and shoulders above their rivals. So from a pick 6 point of view, it's 1 and 8. I think a good banker either in the place accumulator. They should run 1st and 2nd. But in seeking a place accumulator banker, I've gone with the draw. I've gone with number 1, Let It Be Said, who's drawn in pole position. So there are a couple of first timers. None of them appear to be strongly fancied. So I think it's a match race between 1 and 8.
Well, race number 4, numbers 1 and 8, that could be the box exacta for you and the exacta of the day. Next up, race number 5, a class 5 over 1,250 meters. 20 past 2 is the off time, and it will be the start of jackpot 1. Number 5, Spirit Unite, is the favorite at 16 to 10. 3 to 1, number 8, Shift in Path. 6 to 1, Beneath the Moon. And then it is 8 to 1 and better for those. Now, this was Shift in Spirit Unite, rather. 62 kgs on the back. He's in very good form, but just not winning. He seems to be doing his best work later on in the day, but coming from some way back. From a 5 draw, do you perhaps think that Aldo could position him slightly closer than he normally is?
I hope so, because this is the first of my place accumulator bankers, or the second of my place accumulator bankers. I've banked Let It Be Said, and then I'm banking Spirits United. It does worry me that he's had 3 previous outings at Hollywoodbets Durbanville and drawn a blank on each occasion. But I think he's in good form. His next win is imminent. As you say, if he can get into the race. From a place accumulator perspective, I'm pretty confident that he'll at least run on into the money wherever he may be placed early in the race. But obviously, a place accumulator banker is one thing. For the jackpot on the pick 6, it's quite another. I make Spirits Unite the horse to beat. The form is there for all to see. There are a few others worth a mention. Beneath the Moon, who won last time, has cracked pole position. Whether the 5-year-old mare can go back to back remains to be seen. Shifting Path, again, he brings good consistent form into the race. And he is a previous winner at the course, so you have to have respect for number 8, Shifting Path. I'm the Buzz has some form to go around. I think Numzan is going to need this run. It's been off since October last year. The word from the stable is that he's certainly going to need this run, because obviously his last 2 runs prior to his long break were quite good. But he spent a long time at the farm recuperating from an injury. So number 13, Numzan, from what I hear, is going to certainly need the run. There are others that could pop up, like Question of Faith and Lover's Lane, but really Simply Beautiful and Ruja Rain. These are horses that could pop up. But I'm going to be in the camp of number 5, Spirits Unite, to beat number 8, Shifting Path. Those are the 2 that, again, it's pretty much a form result I'm looking for. These Class 5 handicaps can produce upset results, but I'm hoping that Spirits Unite gets the reward he deserves and wins this race.
Yeah, it's been 436 days since his maiden win, number 5, Spirits Unite, but hopefully Saturday the 31st of August will be the day that he becomes a 2-time winner. Next up will be race number 6. This is a class 4 for fillies and mares, 1600 meters, 14:55 is the off time. And your favorite in race 6 is number 5, Hampstead Heath, at 28 to 10. Ice Rain is at 3 to 1. Kamikaze 3 to 1. 6 to 1, Eternal Optimist, Protect the Dream. And then it's 7 to 1 and better for those. Now, Ice Rain and Hampstead Heath have been 2 horses that have met before. How do you see this sort of rivalry going, Graham? Number 5, Hampstead Heath, has been off the track, whereas Ice Rain has had a run under the belt.
I think I would be marginally in the camp of number 1 Ice Rain ahead of Hampstead Heath. There's nothing to choose between them at the weights, but as you say, had a recent run. And last time out, Ice Rain raced without the blinkers. The blinkers do go back on Cornet Orfa, rides for his stable Andre Null. So of those two, I would be in the camp of number 1 Ice Rain. But of course, you've got to have healthy respect for number 5 Hampstead Heath. In fact, I've played the place accumulator. I've included 3 runners, but not included number 5 Hampstead Heath. But you've obviously got to throw her into the major exotics. I've gone with number 3 Kamikaze. I was quite taken with the last one. Her last win over 1,600 meters this course, when she pretty much went start to finish to beat League Club. She's got a nice draw, not a confident selection, but she'll be my top choice in the race, number 3 Kamikaze. I do have healthy respect for number 2 Eternal Optimist. She's been knocking at the door. She's got previous course experience. She's been to Durbanville 4 times for 3 placings. So Eternal Optimist is my second choice. I'm going 3 by 2 by 1 by 5. Worth a mention definitely is number 7 Protect the Dream. I know she came out of the blue to win her 3rd start, but that was at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. She's quite nicely weighted with just 54 on her back. She's a daughter of Karari. She's open to any amount of improvement. She's the only filly in the race who's actually won at Durbanville. The others have been there before, not necessarily won, although they have been placed, so there's no reason why they can't win there. So Kamikaze gets the benefit of the doubt for me, ahead of number 2 Eternal Optimist and number 1 Ice Rain, then 5 Hampstead Heath. But I think you've got to throw at least all of numbers 1, 2, 3, 5 and 7 into the sort of the jackpots and the pick sixes. And if you're a D's player and you're going more than half the field, then you put the field in. But in the place accumulator, I'm going 1, 2 and 3, with 3 my marginal top choice.
Yeah, number 3 at around 3-1 in the market, Kamikaze for Candice Bass-Robinson and Aldo De Meyer. Race number 7 next up, class 3 over 1,400 meters. Half past 3 is the off time, and number 6 Inamorare is your favorite at 4-1, 9-2 Solar Power, 6-1 Aspect, 7-1 Bardolino, and then it is double figure odds about the balance. Now, Graham, this looks to be one of those competitive class 3 contests over the 7 furlongs, and there's a lot of horses that bring good form to the table, and it's going to be interesting to see how it does unfold. Do you have a top choice here, or this is one of the races where you've gone a bit wide in the PA?
I've got 3 horses in the PA, but I'm hoping that's enough. It is a very, very competitive class 3, 1,400 meters. My top selection, going against the grain, against his grain, is number 1 Bardolino, because he doesn't ever seem to put 2 runs together. And last time out he was second, although well beaten by Holding Thumbs. Holding Thumbs seems to have found the sort of form that they expected from him a long time ago. I've gone with Bardolino again because of the draw, because he's got 53 on his back, where some of the principals are carrying much larger weights. His stable companion Solar Power's got 61 to shoulder. Inamorari's got 58 to shoulder. So Bardolino's nicely drawn. He's got a nice low weight. We know he's capable. Whether he's in the right sort of mood, only the race will show. Solar Power and Inamorari are the other 2 that have included. Aspect is, of course, interesting. He's won his last 4 over this trip on the bounce. He hasn't raced since April, though. No jockey has yet been declared for number 7 Aspect to replace Richard Fourie, who's not riding at this meeting. So Aspect, maybe the handicap has caught up with him, but I'm not so sure about that. But perhaps against him is the fact that he hasn't raced since the 30th of April. But there are others here that could surprise. Vaughan Marshall's stable companion to Aspect, Scalini. I know that ran a better race last time. He's got a bad draw to overcome. But if he heads off to the front and they give him a soft lead, then Scalini could be the lurker in the pack. Zumi, Charlie Croker, Tyrion Lannister. Best of the rest might well be Magic Verse. I mean, he's got all the right sort of profile to win a race like this, but it's not going to be easy from gate 14. The only scratching in this race thus far is 15 to Fay, who was drawn even worse. So the race is very competitive, Rahil. You can't really nail your colours to the mask. You can see a horse like Karaoke winning. You can see a horse like Steinbeck winning. But I'm going to rely on the current form. I'm going to rely on the Brett Crawford combination of Bardolino and Solar Power, backed up by Snace Inamorari. So I'm going with the Futura Park outfit here to get me through the place accumulator, numbers 1, 5 and 6. I'm not sure that's enough to get you through the major exotics, but at around 8-1, I do think that Bardolino could offer some quite nice each-way value.
This horse, Jim King, he's running in a handicap for the first time in ages. I mean, I know he doesn't bring good form to the table, but he could be the type of horse that produces a bit of an upset here.
I suppose you can say that he's unbeaten at Durbanville. He's only been there once and he won there. We've been waiting to see some signs of life from Gem King. But for me, his last couple of runs, going back quite a way, have been really so bad, so disappointing. And he hasn't really dropped down the ratings, even though his form has been shocking. If you think that he was a 106, he's now run 7-8 bad races in a row, and from a 106 his relief has been £6 to 100. So I need to see more from number 9 Gem King before I would sort of consider him as being a potential upset winner.
Well, he's at around 14 to 1 in the market. Let's see how he goes. But number 1, Bardolino is the top pick here for Graham, with just 53 kgs on the back. Next up will be race 8, the penultimate race on the card. And this is a class 4 for fillies and mares over the 1,000 meter trip. Scratched is number 1, Grandiosa. So it's a field of 7 that remain. And it is number 3, Rockapina, that is a firm favorite here. She's trading at 5 to 10. Graham, you mentioned that you're playing to beat Rockapina. Well, when you're playing to beat a horse at 5 to 10, it does look to be a bit silly, but give us your reasoning here.
Yeah, this could seriously embarrass me, because for everybody she might be the nap of the day, the banker in all exotics, and she might come home absolutely lonely, as she did when winning by 5.5 lengths in her second start. She beat Stu's Girl, who's actually running in Port Elizabeth. Today we record on Friday morning, so Stu's Girl might flatter that form, or she might bring the form into question. We're expecting Stu's Girl to win. We record this on Friday morning, so the PE meeting hasn't happened yet. So watch how Stu's Girl goes. But there's no doubt that she's a quality daughter of One World. She was a cracking second behind Worldcraft on debut, and then she strolled to victory at very short price when we all napped her on that day. So why have I gone against her? It's hard to go against her in the place accumulator. When I submitted my permutation, Grandiosa wasn't a scratching, so there were 8 runners in Grandiosa, although it looked too sharp for her. She had good form prior to that. She's a 3-year-old, newly turned 3-year-old, having a first run around the turn. She hasn't raced since June. She's got 59.5 on her back, so she's still literally a 2-year-old, because she was only foaled on the 18th of September, so she's nearing her 3rd birthday. She's a Southern Hemisphere bred 3-year-old, but she's still actually a 2-year-old. And when you think that she's, got to give weight to She's My Captain, who's got good form with the course and is a 5-time winner, and she's got to give weight to Hear My Voice, who's a course winner, who's a 4-time winner. So you've either got to sort of put your head down and go and say Rockapina can't get beaten, when perhaps she does. You sort of say, well, maybe I should have given more consideration to the fact that she's so young. She's going around the turn for the first time. It's only her 3rd start. She's inexperienced. She's coming up against some accomplished fillies. But like I said, I've gone 3, 5, and 2. Rockapina is clearly my first choice, but I've gone 3, 5, and 2. Rockapina, She's My Captain, and number 2, Hear My Voice. At worst, I hope I double up. Quite how I'm going to play the bigger exotics, I'm not quite sure. I'm probably going to pay 2 perms. One I will... So don't be silly, Graham, just bank a Rockapina, but then I'll take another wearer. But if I've survived the early bankers and I'm coming through and we've had 1 or 2 minor upsets, this potentially, if she doesn't fill the frame, that's the sort of place accumulator result that you're looking for. But maybe I'm completely on the wrong path. So I put it out there. I'm playing against Rockapina in the place accumulator. I'm expecting her to win, but there are, in my opinion, valid reasons as to why it would not be a surprise if Stable Companion Love Shack beat her. It would not be a surprise if She's My Captain beat her. It would not be a surprise if Hear My Voice beat her. In my view, because Rockapina is probably a much better filly and will end up being a much better filly. She looks to have that class and quality about her, but she's still starting her engines. She's still very young, and the fact she may not like the turn.
I get
we
you.
Don't know.
Yeah, 100%. I get Graham's point with number 3, Rockapina, and he could have found us some nice value. We'll see. We'll wait for 10 past 4 on Saturday to decide. But number 2, Hear My Voice at 10 to 1 in the market. That could be a great find if she happens to rock up. And topple number 3, Rockapina in race number 8. Next up, race number 9, the final race on the day. Cape Sea Stakes over 1,000 meters. 16:45 is the off time. And it's number 2, Kai Boy, and number 4, Otaniqua, that are joint favorites here at 15 to 10. It's then 10 to 1 and Better Bar those. Now, Graham, the same sort of point that you made about Rockapina in race number 8, that same sort of point can be can be mentioned here with these two horses, Kaiboy and Otaniqua, because they've both got big weights to shoulder. And we saw last time out, Otaniqua, he had to give weight away, and he found one too good on the day in the form of Shifting Path. Is it a two-horse race for you, or are there other horses that could make their presence felt at big prices? Because when you look past these two, you're getting lots of value in this race.
Yeah, it's the same story exactly. So you've got Kaiboy and Otaniqua sharing favoritism, pretty much sharing favoritism at a short price, and you can get any odds about the balance. Kaiboy's got 61.5 on his back. He's had 3 starts and he's shown a terrific amount of potential. He beat Bagatelle Flash. It's going to be interesting to see whether that form holds up in the first race today. But he's run 2 very good races behind the highly regarded and highly talented Lion Rampart. So Kaiboy, like Rockapina, could be something special. But he hasn't raced since June. He's still also technically a 2-year-old. They are pretty forward because they were foaled out in September. Otaniqua, same story. He won well on debut, got found out when racing in a handicap in May. He hasn't been seen since May, so it's 3 months since he saw. And that rest might have done them both the world of good. They might have strengthened up, developed, etc. So this race will tell us a lot about where the future lies for number 2, Kaiboy, and number 4, Otaniqua. But the fact is, Otaniqua in a handicap on his handicap debut, he got beat by Shifting Path. That's typically the profile of a kind of horse that's going to beat. He's not a great shakes, he's a very game, he's a hard-knocking, low-grade handicapper, Shifting Path, but it's those kind of horses that might find out these young horses early in their career. So horses like Swift Action, Bluff on Bluff, who goes well at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and the find of the race for me is number 8, William West. And William West at 14-1 is in fact going to be my top choice. Nice little each-way bet. Look at his form at the course. He's run well at the course. He's run well at course and distance, and he's dropped another 4 pounds from his last start when 5th behind Silver Screen. Again, I might be completely off the radar here. But with 57 on his back, a course winner, receiving 4.5 kilograms from Kaiboy and 3 kilograms from Otaniqua, both of which might just be in need of a run. William West has had more recent racing. I would rather have a speculative each-way play on William West than going to take 15-10 either, and I'll take my chances on that. Clearly, you can't ignore Kaiboy and Otaniqua. But if Swift Action were to win, if Bluff and Bluffer were to win, William West were to win, I would almost half be expecting that. So I'd be playing against Kaiboy and Otaniqua again for the same reasons in race 8, and I might be completely wrong. But and they might prove to be better than even I think they might be at this early stage of their careers. All About Al has fluffed his lines in his last 2 starts, but for which I would have thrown him into the play as an older, well-seasoned, 4-time winning son of Captain Al. But his last 2 runs worry me. So William West, for me, the value in the race, my top choice.
I agree with you there. I like the price about William West, and his rating looks to be on a very, very attractive mark now, racing off a 67, and perhaps he could put his best foot forward and run his best race in some time as he looks for career win number 2. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Graham will take us through his place accumulator for racing out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday. And it all begins with the running of race number 3, having a look at the off time. That is 1:10. So Graham, take us through that PA.
Thank you, Rahil. And yeah, just to remind everybody that at this early stage, Richard Fourie and Dennis Schwartz, we know, are not riding. So watch your platforms for the card changes right up until race time. The first leg of the PA taking numbers 2, 3 and 12. Time in Paris, Oktoberfest and Mon Petit Cherie. Perhaps overkill here. You could get away. It looks a 3-cornered contest. Nothing else makes much appeal. So perhaps I've overplayed my hand here, and you could actually banker any one of the 3. My top choice there would be number 3, Oktoberfest, marginally ahead of number 12, Mon Petit Cherie. Then bankering numbers 1, Let It Be Said in the second leg, and 5, Spirits Unite in the third leg, taking my chances there. Then 1, 2 and 3, Ice Rain, Eternal Optimist and Kamikaze in a competitive Class 4 fillies and mares 1600 metres. Then 1, 5 and 6, Bardolino, Solar Power in a Marari in a very, very keenly contested Class 3 handicap over 1400 metres. Those are numbers 1, 5 and 6. Then, as we discussed at length in the 8th race, I'm taking on Rockapina for better or for worse. It's like a marriage. 2, 3 and 5, Hear My Voice, She's my captain, and of course, Rockapina is 3, and she's my captain is 5. Love Shack is also very much in the race, stable companion to Rockapina. The scratching there that we only just heard about recently is Grandiosa. And then the last leg, 4, 6, and 8 for me, so I'm playing it a little alternatively here as well. Gone against Kai Boy and to an extent Otanikwa. I've included Otanikwa, I've included Bluff on Bluff. I'm expecting improvement at the country course from that. And then, as we discussed at length, our value bet number 8, William West. I could be way off the market, could be Kai Boy ahead of Swift Action and something else, and then I'd actually go out the last leg. But that's the way I see it. It's going to be interesting to see how Kai Boy and Otanikwa go in the last. The money is for Kai Boy, and I respect that, so you can't leave it out, the pick sixes, etc. But nice card. I'm looking forward to racing. It's nice to know that we're going ahead at Hollywoodbets Durbanville.
Absolutely. 243 Rand the perm I see for the place accumulator, and could certainly be a nice one to get involved in on Saturday. Graham, thanks very much. Hopefully we've managed to guide the guys in the right direction, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much. You too, Rahil.